Hey everyone, second stream on this channel ever. We will discuss three main topics today. First one is interview of Arthur Hayes, who is a billionaire, who essentially a crypto billionaire in the first place, and he created his own exchange back in the days and doing very well currently. Then we will go through the current situation with Brett. There was a very interesting on Brett. There was a very interesting video published on Brett yesterday. And eventually we will end up with the coverage of the market situation, what I think will be happening next, what should you do, what I am doing as well. And we will end up with a Q&A. So all of the questions that you will be asking through the stream, I will be responding to them closer to the end as well. I expect for us to take from 30 to 40 minutes for all of the parts from my end, and then we will essentially move forward into the Q&A. So without further ado, one second, some technical issues unfortunately. Yep, this one works well. So yeah, let's start with the interview. We will watch the interview and we will go through commentaries. Very interesting things I shared in this interview about the world changing order, about Bitcoin, about post-halving situation, about Solana, about meme coins as well. Very interesting how someone like this with this type of insight and this type of information actually sees things from this end. We will be watching at 1.5x speed, just not to take a lot of time, and I will be stopping and giving my comments as well.
When are we going to see the effects of the Bitcoin halving kicking in and having like an impact on the trajectory of Bitcoin price?
So, I mean, you can look at the previous halvings and anywhere between 4 to 18 months later, you get a new all-time high. The more important thing is that the major economies around the world are going to print even more money between now and say the next 18 to 24 months. I think the big event that crypto investors need to follow very closely is the upcoming US presidential election. Not because the US is important just because it's the US, but more so it's the global empire, its financial policy influences what the Chinese, the Japanese, the Europeans all do. And so if you have an easing of monetary policy because Janet Yellen, U.S. Treasury Secretary, and Jerome Powell, the Fed president, are doing everything they can to make sure that Joe Biden gets reelected. And that basically means, how do I reduce the cost of government borrowing so that him and his Democratic Party can hand out more goodies to the electorate and get reelected? That's what's going to happen between now and the end of the year. When you control the purse of the government, it's very easy to do so by printing money, borrowing it, and handing it out to people in various forms.
So essentially, you think the...
It's quite interesting. Let me know if everything is actually right with the sound and with the video as well. So it's quite interesting that 2024 is not only the election year in the US, it's also the election year in a bunch of countries, and 2025 is an election year in some countries as well. And usually following these type of events, we see money printing, we see certain subsidiaries that are given to the current population to make sure that they would essentially be choosing and picking the current person who is in power at this stage. So he's saying that we expect money easing. And interesting thing is that if US will be printing money, obviously most countries in the world, they would also be printing money because they would not want to stay behind, because all of them, they're essentially based on the US dollar in the first place.
American elections are going to be a net positive for the crypto market.
Regardless of who wins. Whoever wins, they're campaigning on, I'm going to give you something that you don't have to pay for, and I'm going to pay for it.
This is interesting because this interview went live like 2 days ago, and yesterday Trump said that he's pro-crypto, and it's obvious that Biden and Democrats are against crypto currently. So it's very interesting that election is already a crypto-focused event, and we can assume currently that the same thing that will be happen with election. We will be in the same type of Bitcoin ETF trade that we actually were at the end of the last year and at the start of this one, because even if Democrats would essentially win, there would be still like a strong anticipation that if Republicans win, if Trump wins, it will essentially pump the markets like crazy. And in anticipation of this pump, people will be buying crypto. So we expect certain run up to the election, and then based on the results of the elections, either up or down.
For it by borrowing more money. I'm going to pay for it by using the central bank to print money. And that's really what the fight is about. The bull market is still going to continue. Obviously, we've slowed down a bit, and now we're entering the summer, the Northern Hemispheric summer, where things slow down, volatility declines, and we're going to get a choppy range-bound market. But for those people who have fiat and extra cash that want to allocate to crypto, this is the perfect opportunity to do so.
So one of the macro indicators that seem...
Choppy range in the summer, that's interesting. There are definitely a bunch of people who are not allocated into the market. Me personally, I have cash on the side as well, and if we would see like very interesting prices, I think I would be injecting more cash into the market. And there are so many people who are not allocated at this stage, who missed this because they were listening to bears and things like that. There is so much additional capital to actually be added into the market, because currently people have way more conviction. Because back in the bear market, BTC went to 16K, everything says like it's a scam, it's never going to go up. Right now, it's obvious it's going to go up. Right now, it's obvious we have ETF. Right now, we have a very, very strong narrative for the whole space to essentially eventually go up. Therefore, it's way, way safer for people to actually buy into this thing and be way more confident about the whole situation as well. And that's why I think bears are actually getting greedy into the current market as well, because they're waiting for lower prices, and I think at a certain stage they will just not be getting them.
Seem to have the biggest impact on the price of Bitcoin is M2, so global liquidity. In previous years, we saw how that indicator skyrocketed during the COVID pandemic when governments were injecting massive amount of capital into the economy in order to prevent it from collapsing. And then we saw that later in 2022, that indicator started going down, and now it's pretty much flat. So I guess that indicator should go up again in order for Bitcoin to resume its bull run.
The problem with M2 is that it doesn't capture all the things that are used as credit money in the economy. And every time there's a new problem, the elites in charge come up with a new way to confuse people about how they're going to print money. So maybe it's M2, maybe it's broad banking reserves, maybe it's the reserves held at the central bank. It depends on every single economy and how they want to print money. But at the end of the day, the goal is, how do I stuff more credit money through the economy without getting a negative reaction from the populace being like, oh, what's all this inflation? I'm going to blame the people in charge. So yes, M2 is a good measure, and sometimes it works, and then sometimes it's flat, but it's been flat, for a while.
That's something I'm actually telling you from like December. I think from one of the first videos on this channel as well. I'm telling that they should have a certain like bad event in the first place in order to actually be able to start to print money, not to make people mad in the first place. That's why I am actually planning to take certain profits around end of May, June, July, depending on what type of run we will be having. I expect certain run to appear essentially, and I would be planning to take profits, at least take my initials out, all the money that I ever invested into crypto in the first place. So if I would be taking my initials out, I would be very, very happy. In order for me to be comfortable to do this, my whole portfolio should do like 3 to 4x from the current levels, which is a very, very nice run if you would essentially be getting one. But I think we actually should be getting one.
But you still see gold and crypto doing very well.
Because there's a very high chance that they will kick off the money printer back around September. Therefore, like certain event is expected around July and August to kind of explain this to the population. So the population would not blame like, why are you making me poor one more time? Why are you inflating my savings?
Well, you still see major tech indices at all the new time highs. So there is an ample liquidity. It's increasing. It just might be in the indices that people are familiar with from how it operated in the past.
Two contrasting narrative. One saying Bitcoin is not going to perform as well as in previous cycles. Others saying it's going to perform so much better because of these spot Bitcoin ETFs. What is your take in between these two narratives?
So I go back to the first thing I said, was that the thing that got us from 2009 to 2024 in that massive central bank printing, government spending, that's going to continue. Now, the addition of the ETF is very important, because now instead of just, Muppets like us who aren't, fiduciaries or institutional investors who are buying these things, we now have an institutional investor class who are saying the same thing. You have all these luminaries of the financial services industry in the West saying the same thing that I'm saying, which is the government spending by Western democratic governments, and I'll add China in there as well, is unsustainable at these levels. And they're questioning whether or not owning a domestically risk-free domestic currency bond is a good idea for a fiduciary. Now, if that belief holds, then these institutions can now express that view through a BlackRock or Fidelity or pick your large fund manager.
That's why everyone is buying gold currently, because they essentially don't believe anymore in the governments and into the fiat currencies as well. But sooner or later, they should turn into Bitcoin.
Bitcoin ETF. They don't have to custody it. They don't have to worry about who they bought it from. They're buying it from the establishment itself. And so they can express this negative view on the sovereign bond market directly into the best performing asset in human history over the last 15 years. So while the growth in AUM might have slowed, the marketing machine of TradFi is just getting started. These are the most successful products ever for BlackRock and Fidelity and the rest of these fund managers. Do you think they're just going to stop after 3 months? Of course not. They're going to be advertising in all the mainstream financial press. This is a long game. So I think people are underestimating the stickiness of these flows. That doesn't mean that we're entering into, a Kyle Davies and Suju super cycle. That's complete bullshit. There will be a downturn in the price of Bitcoin at some point. But I think that our expectations need to realign with the fact that there's going to be even more money printed by the major economic blocks between now and the next bear market.
What do you think is a signal that people should look at in order to understand the peak of this
He will also say something very, very interesting on this at the end of the interview.
bull cycle? How can people understand that we reached the top?
Probably you're going to start seeing some sort of positive real rate, and I define the real rate as your 10-year government bond minus nominal GDP. Or maybe there's going to be some major global conflict and a reordering of the economic and the political situation between the major powers. That sort of will culminate in obviously some orgy of money printing.
It's very interesting that conflicts and wars, they usually happen at the bottom of the cycles. That's why I don't expect like World War like this year, next one, probably in 2026.
And after that, our expectations might just get ahead of us, and that probably is a signal that it's time to come down in price. Do I have a specific?
And it's very interesting that 2026 is bottom of the more like global cycle. I think it's 16 years or 18 years.
Thing I'm looking for? No, it's more of a feeling. The fact that we're we just passed 70,000, now we're bound at 63 or 64,000 Bitcoin, and people are questioning whether that was the end of the bull market. And we just started. I mean, this run had really just started in November of 2023. Well, I would say that probably means that we're not even close, because we have people inside of the ecosystem are still doubting it. When you hear everyone saying we have fundamentally changed the cycle of Bitcoin can never go down. When I start hearing more and more of that from people who are doubting it at this point in time of the cycle, then I'll start to get a bit more worried that our expectations of what money printing can do for Bitcoin are getting ahead of what will actually happen. But I don't think we're there yet.
So in some of
Yeah, it's something that I was saying as well, is that at the real top, like you will not be able to hear voices of people who would be saying that it's top, sell, and things like that. The sentiment will be way different. Like even now on YouTube, we get like titles for videos, we're going down, the cycle is done, and things like that. These type of things, they will not be happening at the real top of the cycle. That's why we're not at the top of the cycle currently. They're just like zero chances it actually is happening currently. Zero chance.
some of your previous interviews, you said that you were pretty excited about Solana and the ecosystem around it. At the same time, you said that the Solana blockchain is dog shit. I guess because of these outages that have been affecting.
Who is telling you this, that Solana is a shitcoin for like 7 months straight, right? Me.
Solana in latest months. So what in general is your view on Solana?
I like Solana as a trading vehicle, as a high crypto beta momentum play. So I buy Solana when I think the market's about to start pumping. I'll sell it when I think there's going to be, a downturn, and I'll just play the yo-yo as it goes on. Do I think it has a fundamental way to beat Ethereum? No, I think it suffered from the same things that ETH suffered from in its come-up cycle, right? You had an advertised throughput when in reality it's not there, and there's various reasons for that. I'm sure that's.
He's saying that advertised transactions a second and how blockchain works is actually not there, which is very, very interesting for Solana.
The Solana developers are hard at work trying to fix them. They've done a good job in creating a culture around meme coins, a good UI UX in some of their applications. But at the end of the day, was it the 10 or 20,000 or 100,000 transactions per second that was advertised to the community? It's complete bullshit. That doesn't mean that the chain doesn't work or that it doesn't provide value. It's just another example that you're able to bring something successful to Solana, meme coin trading, and it broke the network. Now, does that mean that it's going to go to zero? No. I do think there's a very engaged community that likes to buy and hold this thing, and therefore it's an easy trading vehicle. It's very liquid, but I don't see it long-term supplanting ETH, and I think that there are some other layer one competitors that are going to see what's happening at Solana, make some improvements, and you could see a very, very hotly contested fight for that number 2 spot behind Ethereum. I don't think Solana has a big moat here. They should be very worried.
People were looking for more.
It's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting to understand what is he saying. Like, I was telling you that Solana might go to zero this cycle. At the same time, I kind of have certain controversial thoughts on this because they have like 7 to 8 months of upside of building the infrastructure for the on-chain casino with meme coins. Something like Pump.fun is developed on Solana, and a bunch of things are developed on Solana in the first place. So what is he saying is that layer ones or even layer 2s who would want to compete with Solana at this stage, they would want to replicate this success with meme coins. Because I see these, from my point of view, as the only way to compete with Solana this cycle. It's not useful for anything else. It is a centralized piece of shit. No Ethereum whales would ever transfer the hundreds of millions of dollars into Solana in the first place. It's not going to happen. Like, they're not doing it 100%. it just succeeded being as a meme coin casino in the first place. And some people, some blockchains, some teams might actually want to work on replicating it and making it better in the first place. And maybe they have something on top. Maybe they have an option for people to store a large amount of value as well. Not something that we have on Solana. Maybe they have the option to have native yield. Maybe they have the option to transfer higher percent of fees back to developers, right?
More positive bullish narratives. One of them was the potential approval of a spot Ethereum ETF. I talked to a few analysts, Bloomberg analysts. They said that now they don't necessarily expect that to happen anytime soon. What do you think?
I guess define soon. I said probably the next 12 to 24 months, I think there'll be a spot Ethereum ETF, there'll be a Solana ETF, there'll be every single other cryptocurrency ETF that any of these fund managers can get through. Because if the Bitcoin one did so
very interesting, 6 to 12 months, every other ETF will be present.
well, and they're making so much money doing this, why wouldn't you do it for all other cryptocurrencies? These are passive investing.
Yeah, they're making money so much doing it. They don't care about anything except commission fees, the same as exchanges. And exchanges is the only viable business in crypto. There is no other viable business in crypto except an exchange.
Behemoths. They don't have a view on whether Ethereum or Solana or Bitcoin is good or bad per se. It's more like if the clientele wants it, and the institutional retail investors in the West want to own these things, instead of letting us exchange owners offshore own these things, why don't they own them themselves? And so that's why there's going to be a secular rise of different products. There'll be a few obstacles put in place by the regulators, but at the end of the day, these are captured institutions, and whatever Larry Fink wants to do, he's going to do it. Maybe it's not going to happen this summer, but I have extreme confidence that by the end of this cycle, there will be an Ethereum ETF, BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, pick your name of your major asset manager, they'll have one because they make so much money doing it. Why wouldn't you do it?
Now I wanted to ask you about...
As mentioned following my video, I do think that we have high chance of approval this month. I just see that in the charts we have to go up. So we should be receiving a certain positive event. We will see. We will see if it's going to be Ethereum ETF, but it's very, very interesting that even people who are saying that we are not getting ETF in May, they're saying that we're still getting it this cycle 100%. So even if it would get declined, it might be bullish because it just means that this ETF trade, it does not stop. It continues in the future, and in the future there would still be anticipation about the approval or disapproval of this ETF trade. Therefore, people would essentially want to bet on this in the first place through most likely buying Ethereum and buying Ethereum betas as well. And a lot of people are saying that decline of Ethereum ETF is priced into the market currently, which I tend to agree with as well.
About another hot narrative of this crypto bull market, which is layer 2s on Bitcoin. This new ecosystem that is being built on top of Bitcoin. How big do you think this thing is?
So culture is the most important thing in humanity, right? We do all this stuff, and at the end of the day, we have free time, and we do culture, sports, arts, go to nice restaurants, go to see a play, whatever it is. So when we can bring culture to the blockchain ecosystem, we can onboard the next billion people because that's what they care about. Someone is more likely to go spend a few hours in line to buy a Louis Vuitton bag than they are to learn about financial freedom and use MetaMask. And so if we're able to bring something that people actually care about intrinsically, which is digital art or some other type of culture, and we're able to trade it and experience it natively on a blockchain, then you're going to see orders of magnitude more engagement from those who otherwise wouldn't participate. An example, CryptoKitties broke Ethereum in 2017. Dog with Hat and other meme coins broke Solana in 2024. Ordinals, Runes, BRC20, these things are going to fill blocks. They're going to provide transaction fees for miners who now have just lost half their block subsidy. It's going to allay these concerns of what are we going to do when the block subsidy goes away Bitcoin? Well, humanity's culture is going to be on-chain, and that is extremely bullish for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Maelstrom, my fund, we've invested in oil, a Ordinals wallet, and we'll continue to make other investments in this space as I believe this is the most important thing that we have to get right as a crypto ecosystem. If we can bring culture on chain, then we bring the users.
We're going to see the market, as you say.
It's interesting. So he's not saying anything about Bitcoin layer 2s. He's pretty much saying about other assets and other things that will be transacting in the Bitcoin blockchain in the first place, because he's also speaking about transaction fees, and if there would be Bitcoin layer 2s implemented, there will be no transaction fees for the miners in the first place, because miners only care for the transaction fees in the Bitcoin blockchain, and Bitcoin blockchain, these are layer 1 assets, your runes, your ordinals, your NFTs and BRC20s as well. And interesting thing with Bitcoin layer 2s currently is most of them, they are Ethereum based garbage things, which is they're pretty much just side chains in the first place with the implementation of the bridge. So you come to these layer 2s, you bridge your asset, they give you a copy of your asset on their blockchain, and then you can do something with your asset there, like maybe put it into staking, transfer, and obviously there you won't have fees because it's Ethereum based blockchain, or it's Ethereum layer 2 based blockchain, or it's the Cosmos stack based blockchain. So it's not very different from the solutions we kind of have on the market currently. And we cannot develop a BTC layer 2 that can achieve transactions finality on Bitcoin currently, due to the fact that BitVM is not finished currently, and everyone is kind of waiting for the implementation of optimistic rollup technology. And like best case scenario for this thing to be ready and to actually work is end of this year. Maybe at the start of the next one, but like best case is end of this year, and it's like best case. Most likely it's going to take more time as well. So I'm a bit bearish on Bitcoin layer 2s. Actually, I think stacks will probably still do well because they're essentially at the forefront of the whole thing, despite the fact stacks is also a side chain, essentially, if you would use a terminology of Ethereum layer 2s. But in terms of the assets, in terms of Bitcoin whales buying JPEGs, buying NFTs on their chain, close to the end of this cycle, when they are very filthy fucking rich and they want to stand out, that's something I can definitely believe in. And we have some projects like Ghosty Cash, very interesting stuff is happening there. And we do have some new meta protocols being developed too. Runes is one of them, and they're essentially a layer 1, like they're Bitcoin blockchain native things. And we will have TAP protocol as well. We already have it, it's just about the launch of their token at this stage.
Hey, trading sideways probably for a while. People are still willing to make money with cryptos. What do you think is the best way at this point to gain some sort of passive income using crypto?
So I can't speak to what's best for every sort of investor, but I can tell you what I do and what we do at Maelstrom. So on one end, there is I don't want to have any sort of cryptocurrency risk, but I want to earn a return in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. And what we do in that situation is we have large synthetic dollar positions in Athena, so the USDE. This staked USDE yields anywhere, it's in the past between 10.
I want to share something here. I want to explain that in crypto, like yield and passive income is a scam in the first place. And I don't think that you should be participating in it in the first place. Maybe if you can put like some Ethereum to stake and if you still hold it and you will be making some, it's right. But if you're using some protocol and you're putting like 100% of your asset to get like 20% or 30%, that's like risking 100% of your assets to get 20 to 30% upside. And this guy in the protocol, he's not taking any risks on his end. So if the protocol is getting hacked, he's just saying, oh, like, I'm sorry, something happened with smart contract, we cannot give you back your funds. I think you're way better off with earning your delta by just investing into coins and waiting for them to pump. Even if they don't have staking mechanism. And I don't think that you should actually stake something if you're locking up your tokens. I made some of the mistakes like this in the last cycle. I don't think that staking your assets is something you should be doing in the first place if you cannot withdraw it and if you cannot withdraw them any second. I don't think that this is something that you should be doing in the first place. Just buy your tokens, high conviction plays that will be doing several multipliers this cycle. Just hold them and your delta will be way more attractive if you would put some assets and just stake them and just make some money there. I don't think it's feasible in the first place. It's too much risk.
10 to 60% APY, and that's because they're able to capture the...
And this guy can be doing that because he has hundreds of millions, so that's a different story.
Basis / cash and carry yield on Ethereum versus US dollar and Bitcoin versus US dollar perpetual swaps, and the Ethereum staking yield. Now, when you deploy this strategy, you don't have any price risk of Ethereum or Bitcoin. If the market goes up in crypto, that's fine. You don't make any more money. You make your 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is. It's a variable rate. It could go negative as well, right? There's definitely that risk there.
Actually, I want to touch upon Ethereum because it's a controversial sort of project. People remember what happened with Terra Luna. They were promising unreal rates, and then, of course, the scheme collapsed. We remember the Celsius in the last bull market. It ended up collapsing as well because it was promising like unreal rates. Why people should trust a project like Ethereum, at least on the superficial level, it's been often compared.
And like Luna and Celsius, they are peak human greed and human emotions, psychology, with humans not being able to understand and accept new money in the first place, and that's why they are wasting them. It's actually a very smart psychological thing. I do expect at the end of this cycle for a bunch of these type of projects to appear as well. And last cycle, OHM, also time, we had a bunch of things like this because people had too much money. It was not comfortable psychologically, and they wanted to put something to receive this yield, and at the end of the day they were just losing the whole thing.
Compared to USD, what would be your response?
Well, that, as you said, Olive, right there, a superficial response of lack of understanding of what you're doing. If you have that opinion and you lost money in Terra Luna, that's probably because you didn't read the white paper. The white paper clearly showed what would happen in the situation where the peg broke to the downside, and it was a textbook definition of a death spiral. So if you lost money because you didn't read that, then that's your fault. For Athena could fail. Absolutely. It will not fail because the peg broke and they're minted infinite amounts of Luna to essentially try to keep the peg that had a zero value. That's not why Athena could fail. People say, oh, the Athena interest rate is very high. Well, it's very high because we're in a bull market mode, and speculators on the long side are willing to pay a high rate of interest to get leveraged exposure to Ethereum and Bitcoin and other cryptos. Athena is essentially capturing the cash and carry or basis trading strategy that has been around since I've been trading crypto in 2023.
Yeah, Athena is actually quite smart because the strategy of farming the funding rates, it's quite old. The Arthur is saying that the strategy known from 2013 or even before in stocks market as well. When people are staying long and the funding is positive, you're basically shorting with like very, very small leverage, and you're hedging this position and you're just farming funding rates. So this is something that Athena is actually based on. And yeah, as I was mentioning in previous videos, these type of things, they tend not to collapse in the bull market. They mostly collapse closer to the end. And like Luna collapsed, I think, when BTC already was like $40,000, so it was already in the downtrend.
Packaging that up and allowing you to tokenize that. And so yes, you can mimic the exact same thing that Athena is doing without putting your money with the protocol. But if you want to use the USDE or staked USDE throughout the DeFi ecosystem, then this tokenized form is a step change in how we can integrate protocols together.
Arthur, I just want to ask you if you could give us your price outlook for Bitcoin in terms of, let's say, end of the year, end of this bull market. What sort of price range are you looking at?
So end of the year, I think we're going to be between $70,000 to $100,000 on the price of Bitcoin and of 2,000.
70 to 100K. That's very interesting. With all the craziness in election and things like that, some people expect us to see like 80, 90K in June if we would see this pump this month, like all-time high for BTC this month. Well, it's going to be like a more complex situation there. 70 to 100K by the end of the year, it's quite interesting. I tend to think more. I tend to think 120, 150K just for the whole picture to complete. For a bunch of people with the PTSD of the last cycle actually was weak in the first place. So it was not like normal. And we have some things that Arthur will actually mention further as well. So personally, I expect more, just for more people to take profits around this level and for more people to actually leave the market around that level, because they would be scared of the PTSD. And so many people currently, they're saying, I will be taking profits 120, 150K, which will probably result in market going into the chop, into a correction at the time. But I expect for us to surge way higher after that. And these people feeling crazy FOMO, feeling very bad. These people re-entering at the tops, even if they're like very, very strong players, because you need to understand that if they sold 150K, we went down 130, and then we had 200K, 250, 300K, 350. For some time, they will think like it's a trap, it's just stupid. I will not be re-entering. I'm staying true to my word. And eventually, they will be re-entering way higher than like 200K, for example. And they will have way higher chance to get wrecked.
2024. My, long-term sort of this cycle all-time high, anywhere between, I think it's going to be somewhere close to $1 million for one Bitcoin on the upside. That's my prediction. I hope we get there.
He's smiling here. It's very interesting. And I always say you that I expect 700K for BTC to actually reach this cycle. It's very, very interesting what type of reasoning he's providing here.
If we get even close, that'll be good.
Wow, but that's quite impressive. Most of the predictions for the top of this cycle are much more moderate.
So the difference between...
Moderate because people have PTSD from the last cycle. Most predictions 120, 150. Some people are saying 200K. I think they're wrong. And I really, really like to see most people to kind of agree on these targets. But in reality, best players, they will probably just look at the chart. They will probably just look at Bitcoin dominance, the USDT situation as well, and they will be making the decision based on that. But still, like when someone would be sitting in 170K BTC even with the dominance like not being at the bottom yet, I think they would already be selling because of the PTSD of the previous cycle.
In this cycle and all the previous ones is the geopolitical and macroeconomic situation of every other major power. And that is, we are in the midst of changing the world order. I don't know what that new world order will be, but the people who make money off of the old order don't want it to change, and therefore they're going to print more money than we've ever seen in human history to try to forestall that change. The change will still happen. They will still get swept aside by the tides of history. But in its wake, we have Bitcoin, and that allows us to escape.
Thanks a lot, Arthur, for being on our show.
That's something that I'm actually telling you from day one on this channel as well, that we are in the midst of the change in the world order. And what he's saying is very, very interesting, that older people who are in power currently, they would not want to change. First of all, they will send their populations to war to actually die and replace them with AI and robots. And secondly, they will be printing money like crazy to keep things structured, to make sure that they can actually stabilize this type of construction. It's very, very interesting. And we have this asset as Bitcoin as this kind of like escape thing that not a lot of people view it currently as it is. And it's being viewed as a risk asset that just follows stock market, and it follows like perfectly the risk curve with the assets out there. It's very, very interesting. I do think that we might be seeing Bitcoin essentially moving into this separate type of asset this cycle, where people would start to see it as a hedge against everything that is essentially happening. Smart people, I would say, already see it like this, and I would say that more and more people would essentially turn into that. It's very, very interesting, because today I had a thought. I don't have any Bitcoin at this stage. Today I had a thought just to buy one BTC with additional cash that I will be injecting into the market from the bank account, and just have it for myself. I think like there is a high chance I would actually be doing this in upcoming several days. It's very, very interesting.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
So, very, very interesting interview. To sum up the whole thing, Solana is a shitcoin. It's famous because of the Memecoin casino. Layer 2s and Layer 1s who will compete with Solana, they will probably try to copy their Memecoin casino. We saw this on Base already, but it was a bit forced. Ethereum, some memes are being traded on Ethereum as well. I'm betting on Blast, because there is an interview from the founder of Blast who is saying that they're deliberately working as a team to enable meme season on Blast. Change in world order, BTC to 1 million this cycle. We are not at the top, and we will essentially be surging up. And interesting that he said that he's buying Solana when he thinks that we're going up, and he's selling when he thinks that we are going down. So he's kind of riding this as a trade. I tend to see that a lot of the thoughts that he's actually sharing from his ends are similar to the thoughts that I was sharing, or I am sharing. And the question I have is to you, why pay more? Arthur is obviously someone who is very, very unknowledged on the marketplace currently. And me, obviously not at this stage. There might be some upsides. There might be some upside there, right? Moving forward. We have the situation with Brett yesterday, very, very interesting one. So we had a video from Handsome Finance that he published yesterday. I actually had a call with Antonio. I think I saw him first at like 1K, 2K subscribers. I was in his, I'm still am actually in his private Discord as well. And he's very, very interesting strategy with his YouTube channel. Like he's growing it very, very nicely, because I think before he published this video, he had like 15.9K subscribers, but you probably don't care about these things. So in the video, he's actually sharing Crash's wallets, and he's saying that Crash was taking profits, and at the same time, he was saying that he essentially was not taking profits, and that's why he's lying to you. And he saw some things on Conan as well. And then he created like an apology video, I would say, where he's saying that he was wrong, because the wallets that he thought are Crash wallets are actually wallets of a guy that randomly sent Crash 4.6 Ethereum. Then he asked him to send this Ethereum back. It was publicly on Twitter. Crash sent this Ethereum back, and the guy thought that this eventually crashes wallets. So this situation was heavily discussed in Crash private channel. I cannot share all the information there. The interesting thing I can share is that people in the US, they usually do not hold the funds on exchanges that essentially require KYC, right? But I wanted to kind of finalize the situation on Brett, because this like whitelist thing, it's definitely like an influencer launch in the first place. It's just very, very interesting in a way of how they decided to do it natively, and how they were able to achieve doing it natively, and how Crash was pretty much able to push the whole thing. Because I think like this whitelist, they actually went to like largest accounts, because Kyle Chese was actually talking about Brett as well. The Crypto Bunter shows, they were speaking about Brett many times as well. But it's very, very interesting that Crash was the one who was able to actually pump this thing like crazy. So he kind of became the like main person behind that. Maybe he's connected to the whole team, maybe not. I don't know at this stage, and frankly speaking, I don't think so, because his account was quite small before the success with Brett, and YouTube and Twitter definitely had like the smaller amount of subscribers and followers that he has currently. Whether or not he was actually taking profit during the surge of the whole thing, well, I was saying to you that I think that they were taking profits at the tops from 500 to 800 million, because if you don't want for the meme token to actually die out, and you're a team and you're insiders, you want to start taking profits before retail and before the market would essentially start to take profits, because you want to take this liquidity for yourself, because you want to have additional liquidity to move this meme further, to push it essentially further. And personally, I actually hope that Crash was taking profits, because I think he received a lot of shit for the situation and for the things that he's done, because eventually he presented like this thing at like 2 million market cap on his YouTube channel. I missed that. I was salty, and partially I was saying this thing is shady also because of it as well. Currently I'm staying in my loan. I think I'm down like 30-40k at this stage, but I think it's actually going to be alright. I don't think I will get liquidated at this stage. I think I would just stay till 0.054 level, take my margin out, and then just leave it open, and I think it's gonna be alright. And if you would ask me, do I think he actually was taking profits or not? Yeah, I think he was taking profits, and I honestly hope that he was taking profits, because he did the whole job. Like, he attracted the whole market to this thing. He was the most convincing. He is a very, very good marketer with this thing in the first place. I would say it would be not fair for Crash like not to make anything from it, when so many people that like did so small in comparison to this thing, they made like a bunch of money as well. So yeah, this is the situation about Brett. It's interesting that kind of the chart did not much reflect yesterday's FUD. I don't believe that like sell pressure is still there after the FUD that was happening. And I don't think that people who are calling like Crash scammer currently under the video on Handsome Finance channel, I don't think they hold like much Brett or any Brett at this stage. And that's quite bullish, because this like last FUD was kind of like last bullet. I don't see that like anything worse can actually be happening to the project in the first place. And I was deliberately following the chart of Brett yesterday, and I saw that when the video arrived, I was expecting the chart to actually go down, and it was staying at the same level. I remember it was staying 0.035, right? And it only went down to 0.033 when BTC went down. So it actually went down with the market. It was not going down with this new video essentially arriving yesterday, which is very, very interesting in the first place. So yeah, this is it about the whole situation. does not remove the fact that it's like influencer pump in the first place, but it's kind of a bit more fair if you would think about that, because Crash like shared it publicly at $2 million. I just don't think that a lot of people were expecting it, including me, because I saw it like at 6 million and 10 million. I decided it's too late. If it was not that packed with influencers and insiders, it would not run that much. And my issue, for example, I was not thinking about the fact that it might be that packed with influencers and insiders, so it would be running that much. At the same, like that fast. At the same time, probably if it would not be packed with influencers, insiders to that extent, it would not be pumping to that levels as well. So let's see what will be happening with the whole thing. And yeah, very, very interesting situation. I think it's like final of the Brett story. I think Brett will be all right moving forward. I think if you hold like some Brett, or if you were buying at the dips, I think you should be all right moving forward as well. Moving forward into the current situation in the market, and if you have any questions, feel free to just ask them into the chat. We'll go through the Q&A session. So I actually kind of stole these tweets from Miles' video because they're very, very interesting. And one more time, just listen to them, listen to what I have to say, and remember, like, again, that at the top, there will be no people who would be screaming about like we are going lower and things like that. No people. Everyone would be like believing that we're going to 2 million BTC, 3 million BTC and things like that. And voices would actually be speaking like, I'm selling, I'm taking profits. They will not be getting views. They will be blocked by essentially the wall of people who are screaming about everything going up, right? Let me actually zoom this in. Probably biggest misconception. Let me check if everything is right with. Yeah, probably biggest misconception is that normie are coming to buy your coins. Nope, they learned from 2021 and have correctly classified crypto as a scam. Those who do buy anything buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum. Altcoin dispersion forever until they all get their own ETFs. So I think it's wrong in the first place, because if this would be like this, we won't have cycles in the first place. We will not be having any cycles. And the reason these cycles are 4 years in the first place, that's something that the guy on YouTube says that all your influencers are watching and then they're calling tops and bottoms. His first name is Bob. Unfortunately, I forgot his last name. All the influencers, they're watching him in the first place, and then they're telling you if it's like a cycle top, a cycle bottom, and they're buying. So only based on these guy projections in the first place. So he's also explaining that cycles are based on human psychology. 4 years is enough time for people to actually forget everything that was happening before and buy into the same asset one more time, especially with the current situation, with the craziness in meme coin sector, with people being able to flip a coin and kind of try their luck, and their chances, they are way better. Way better than with lottery. And like I think we have like 160 180 billion dollars spent for lotteries in the last year. Imagine like at least 10% of this liquidity coming into meme coins. This is just crazy amount of liquidity. One thing I can agree with him is altcoin dispersion forever until they all get their own ETFs. And this is something I actually want to share. I saw a very interesting tweet today that I would like to share on this topic, and it seems like, so it's kind of double-edged, but it seems very true, because I was kind of in this mid-curve type of state. If you remember, I was saying that like I don't believe that VCs on Arbitrum would actually be selling Arbitrum. I don't believe that VCs on Sui will actually be selling Sui, and they dumped the bags like small little rats as they are, right? So what is actually, this picture is about the fact that in VC pipeline, we have like pre-seed, they're buying some tokens, then they're reselling to other VCs, they're buying and seed, they're doing new round, 600 million, they're doing new. So the thing with this valuations is that once they're on the market, finally already, once there is a TGE, the valuation is so high, so no one actually can make money except VCs. They're not given the option for us, for smaller guys, to actually be able to make money in the market. That's why I'm saying that they're fucked, and they will actually end up cannibalizing each other. And liquidity on the altcoins will most likely be focused on like a very, very small set of projects that are really, really good. One of them I expect to be Sui. And the outcomes that we actually have from these things is the fact that we will probably have two different narratives that will be running. The store of values, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana was added at this stage. I do believe that Ton should be doing well this cycle as well, and not because of default reasons, right? That everyone is saying to you that like it's a 900 million Telegram application, things like that. Obviously they are. The reasons that Ton will be running is because 90% of the supply of Ton is owned by top 100 wallets. Is because a bunch of these wallets are Russian mafia as well. Is because US taxpayer dollars are already sold to Durov and to Ton team to be able to launch a Ton ETF in the US. And this money will be pumping Ton essentially. And Russian mafia guys, they will be taking this money through dumping the Ton on ever join the US, who would be buying Ton through Ton ETF. That probably will be opened closer to the mid-end of 2025. And I do actually think that we will be getting a longer, like a default length cycle at this stage. And it all comes through the fact that Durov actually did an interview with Tucker Carlson. And you might think it's insane, but this is how it really is. And memecoins, obviously, because I was also saying that retail will eventually remember this cycle as buying meme coins. And one thing that I have like kind of fear about is that what if they will be not like buying large caps? What if they will be like trading on chain and buying low caps? But I kind of remember people buying just Dogecoin and Shiba Inu last cycle, and they were buying large caps because they did not know any better, because it was very, very hard to buy other things. You actually need to learn new user experience. I don't think like retail, like default retail will be trading on chain. Maybe like some Zoomers and guys like that, but most likely not. I think on chain will convert more and more of the current market participants like you and me, because if you're currently in the market, you're probably like not retail. Maybe you're retail from this cycle, but like current chop almost like bored everyone out of the market and no one is in the market currently, right? And it's very, very important to actually be in the market and be making some buys. And this week I actually bought $40,000 worth of, $60,000 worth of meme coins this week only. So yeah, essentially I think they will be dying even most likely more. In comparison with the last week, yeah, it's probably close to 100K, which is crazy. So retail will be buying meme coins, and I do think they will be buying larger caps as well, because they would want to use something more convenient like Robinhood and other things, exactly as the last cycle. I was speaking to my personal coach in the gym, and he was buying Dogecoin last cycle and nothing else. They don't care about nothing else. Even the guy saying that they will be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, I don't think so. I don't think that a lot of them will be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, because Kyle Chessie is saying like it's famous thing that last cycle he was in New York, he was asking regular people, do you know crypto? And everyone just told, yeah, of course I know, I have Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. They did not have any Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is institutional type of assets. They will be very, very expensive, and it will be just like hard psychologically. Like should I buy 300K Bitcoin or 15K Ethereum, or should I actually buy like this meme coin that I can put like $100 in and I already have 1 million of tokens? So I am a Dogecoin millionaire because I have 1 million of tokens, right? This is definitely something more appealing in the first place. Retail absolutely despises cryptocurrency. This actually makes me bullish, because if players in the market like this, like he has 22K followers, he has 22 people that I follow following him. He has 50K views. He has 200 likes. Well, that's not a lot, so that's not that bullish. But the fact that this type of opinion actually exists, the fact that, and even if it is currently, right, it means that there is a very, very huge upside in retail eventually liking cryptocurrency, because they will start to hear this story like the guy they hate from high school who had like sex with the girl that a guy was in love with for 8 years, and he was like doing her homework, and he was constantly like talking to her and making sure she is alright. And the guy just came drunk and he fucked her the first night, and then then he left. He would hear this type of guy making millions in crypto with some stupid like Memecoin, and he will go and he will research some white papers, and he will buy some altcoins, he will get dumped on. So a bunch of stories like this will be happening. We have a very, very nice network effect in crypto in the first place. It's a very, very interesting because it actually gives you an option to earn money in the first place. Last cycle, when I lost 200k, out of these 200k, like my initial money were around $140,000. And I sold all my stocks at this stage. I just put 140k into the market, and I lost 220 in total, because I think at the peak it was 220. So it gave me the option to make some money before it took it all. And it didn't like I was scammed. Like, it was just going down for months. I was just holding, believing in the fact that if I would be holding, everything is going to be alright. But I believe a lot of us have similar stories. So this actually makes me bullish from one point of view, because these guys think that from other point of view is that some retail, I think, despises cryptocurrency, but it's about how the opportunity is lucrative in the first place. If the opportunity is lucrative enough, if the neighbor that they hate is making millions in crypto, they will join. They will secretly join and start talking about this. Pentoshi being bearish, it's very, very interesting, because what I see here is PTSD from the bear cycle, from the bear market, from someone who is experienced in the market already. This is actually bullish from my point of view. Like the fact that this cycle should have the largest diminishing returns of any cycle, I don't think so. We had bottom of BTC at 16k. I think we're going to 700k conservatively. That would be like 35x at least. And all the other assets, they should be doing well. It's just that very, very interesting thing that I actually wanted to share on VCs dumping as well. Do you think that they're actually dumping because they structured these projects up on purpose? Because they know that the world is fucked? They understand they don't care at this stage. They want to suck up as much money as they can. That's why they're dumping. They understand that the world is fucked. They understand that the global war will be coming in 2026. They understand like everything can change in a second. That's why they actually structured things the way they structured them. That's why they're actually dumping any second where they only get the chance. This thought just came to my mind today, and it's very, very interesting in the first place, because if they had like longer term view, they probably would like pressure teams to change the vesting schedules, because they definitely understand these things. They definitely understand that they need men like us, people like us, market players like ours, to be able to make more money, because they need option to make some money for us. So we would be screaming on our Twitter pages, I would be screaming on my YouTube, I made like 5x's on Sui, buy Sui and things like that. But they're not giving us the option to do that, which is very, very interesting. We have to understand why, because these are not stupid people in the first place. There is a reason they have tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. They understand the whole thing way better. They have way better insights, and maybe there is a reason they're doing things the way they're doing. If I had to guess, I'd say we're entering the 8th inning of this bull market. Def not over, but not early. So 8 is, I think, is actually one of the last. So I think in total is actually 9. This post is actually like very crazy. It actually made me laugh in the first place, and I understood like how great. Like I understood this as a clear bottom signal, and I think if we would actually come back in the future, if we would check out this date, it will be very, very, very close to the local bottom. And if you're not familiar with the concepts of these innings, I don't know if it's coming from baseball. Like, I'm not American. I don't know like who the fuck knows the rules of baseball except Americans. Let me actually know if you know the rules of baseball in the comments, right? So we have like first inning of the cycle, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's probably 8, and probably it's another one, right? So 8 is close to the last one. And the core idea that you want to have when you're investing in crypto is to be able to buy close to the first one and be able to sell close to the last one. Because if you essentially try to time the bottom, or if you essentially try to time the top, you are significantly increasing the risks of you losing a bunch of the profits in this case, or you essentially not buying here and just waiting as a bunch of guys currently, right? And you were saying, for example, that BTC is going down at 20k, and you were selling your BTC at 20k. Right now it's already 70k, and you don't know what the fuck you should do. You should probably just continue doing YouTube videos and getting paid promotions and do nothing, right? So with this thing, yeah, the core idea is to be able to catch like this thing, and everyone, each and every influencer, I think the name of the guy is actually Bob Lucas, right? Each and every influencer, they just listen to Bob Lucas on YouTube. When he says it's the bottom of the cycle, they buy. That's the only thing that they're doing. They just have like a better source of information. They just know about this guy, right? And all these analytics, it comes from this guy. When I actually like found that out, it was very, very funny in the first place. And you would want to sell around like 8 innings, so like 1 inning before the end. And it's very, very interesting because it's kind of very, very hard with meme coins as well, because we know that meme coins, they might have a tendency to pump the latest, especially if you are sitting in some meme coins that are better placed to the largest memes on the market. So for example, I'm sitting in Boba, right? And we will have Pepe. Pepe will probably find the top maybe somewhere in between 8th and 9th inning, right? But Boba, for people to actually start taking profits from Pepe into Boba, it will probably take some time, right? So it would not be right away. At the same time, if you are late here, you can just lose like 50% of your gains, like in a matter of couple of days. Because when the market dumps, especially on the meme coins, it dumps like savagely. Like it dumps like crazy in the first place. This is a very, very hard part about essentially taking profits from meme coins closer to the end of the cycle. So this is something that all of us probably should need to master closer to the end of the whole thing. And last but not least, I do actually agree with Capo. The market looks about to bounce. Let's actually check out the price of BTC at this stage. I think it actually had a slight bounce, and people are saying that, yeah, we're back and things like that. But as you know, I do expect a bounce next week. I do expect for us to start pumping next week, and I do expect new all-time highs for Bitcoin and for Ethereum this month as well. I do expect nice June, and closer to the mid of June, end of June, I would be looking to take profits on my positions, and I would be looking to take out initials that I ever put into crypto, like all of the initials, which would probably be somewhere around 700k, like from 700k to 900k at this stage. Just for me to be safe. Probably it's not going to be the best decision long term, but psychologically it would be probably would be way easier for me to continue to hold these things. I'm saying things like that currently. It might be changing in the process, but in terms of me like taking profits and taking this amount of profits, it might be less. But we will essentially see. It obviously would also depend on the situation in the market, because if it will just go to shit, or if my portfolio will not outperform, that would mean that I would just not be able to take these profits, because I would not want to be taking profits like significantly reducing the amount of tokens I would essentially have. To sum up the whole thing, I do think it's a great time to buy. I do think you should be very, very careful with altcoins. I do think that you should only be buying altcoins in the ecosystems that have high chance of winning this cycle. To give you 3, Sui, Ton, and Blast. I think AI will be doing quite well to the extent because it's a great meme token in the first place. I think project in AI that you should want to look at is NQAI. Render does not have any active users, just the bubble in the first place, as many of them are. And QAI is actually a working decentralized LLM, like with no censorship, like ChatGPT. I think when market understands the utility, it can fly like crazy, but that's definitely a riskier bet. I still expect the return of gaming because it's just exciting. Like I love playing games. People like playing games as well. These Ponzi's in gaming, they're always exciting as well. Maybe gaming will actually be revived on Blast. So if you are into gaming, check out Blast projects. I honestly want to check out my gaming projects. Like I honestly want to check out some gaming projects on Blast as well. I think they might be doing quite well. Yeah, so AI and gaming, two meme sectors that should be doing well, but they will be under performing memes because memes are just better memes in the first place, and AI and gaming are just weaker memes. Strong, Layer 1, Sui, Blast, and Ton that I see from my end. And yeah, be very, very careful with altcoins because VCs are behaving themselves like there is no tomorrow because there is probably no tomorrow because they probably know some things. They definitely have access to the better quality information, to better people, to better insight than we have, and they probably understand this world way better because they have tens of millions and hundreds of millions as well. Overall, I think it's a great time to buy. I think we are pumping next week. I think that we will see new all-time high for Ethereum and Bitcoin this month. If not, we will be seeing next month, but I'm staying with this month still. I'm not changing my words. We've been into this chop. I like it very, very much. People get bored and things like that. I'm not getting bored. I'm in the market on a daily basis. I'm repositioning, I'm investing, I'm buying new stuff, I'm getting racked. So it's all going nicely. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole sum up. So let's move into Q&A. Let me actually change to my picture. And I will scroll. Is it time to panic? No, I don't think so. Panic is the reaction of a lot of people in the market. And like all the OGs that I see, I follow, they are bullish as well. And I have some very, very I have people who predicted Russia-Ukraine war based on Bitcoin chart saying we're going up. I have some people who are generally right in the long-term trends buying as well. So these are very, very good signs. And honestly, I was taking more risks recently with my portfolio. So I was buying like high risk plays in the expectation that we will be pumping. Hi man, hi. It's time the original Brett on ETH wakes up. A new community takeover is done. Now it's only up from here. Well, might be doing something, but yeah, I think that unfortunately this Brett will take over because they have all the influencers, like they have everyone. There is no way, like it's a huge damage to the reputation of the whole space because everyone knows that this project was on all of these like things in the first place. I see that like video is lagging a bit, but no worries, it's not about video here. I feel like Sui will be top 10 coin, HSui is 100x. I feel so as well. Yeah, I feel like HSui is more native meme coin for Sui. FUD is similar to Brett, so it's like some type of influencer type of pump. The only thing that you need to take from it at this stage, because they're close to the actual bottom, is that it's safer. It will actually it will pump, but it will probably pump on the smaller amount of percentage in the first place. As mentioned in my video, I'm still really thinking to sell all my FUD and buy HSui and do a video that FUD is a scam. Buy HSui, so people would be googling FUD and buying HSui instead. But I do like this buy the FUD, so it's quite smart. Buy the FUD, and the meme is called FUD. It's quite smart. So there are definitely interesting people in this space who understood this narrative of being early with the largest meme tokens on chains. That's why I think FUD was created. Pac Moon on Blast. Well, the only reason I'm saying it's an inside job is because FDV is way larger than the current market cap, which we should not be seeing for a meme token. And they have like a golden mark on Twitter. And if you have like what type of meme project have like a golden mark on Twitter? If they have like a golden check mark, that's like 100% inside job. It's like Mario, Nofall type of agencies, this type of thing. OG Brett sitting 500 market cap. Well, maybe at a certain stage, OG Brett will get picked up. So it might be like an interesting bet, right? What's up from California? Wow, my father's favorite song is Hotel California. OG Brett on Ethereum is an insane steal. Yeah, guys, you're probably. What's up, Stan? Yeah, thank you. OG Brett on Ethereum, yeah, probably attacking the stream. Hey Stan, have a look at Popcat. Popdog instead of a Popcat. Yeah, it's funny. 2026 is going to suck. Depends on how much meme coin you will buy currently and how much of them you will actually be able to hold. Because I also saw a tweet today, like there was a meme coin ETF like kind of created in one of the funds. And interesting thing that guy said on Twitter, kind of talking about this news, is that if you would just buy them and if you would just hold, you would most likely outperform 99% of the market. This is exactly what will be happening. And even currently, like we're trying to play our like low caps game and buying some low caps, and I am repositioning like some things from larger memes into smaller memes, but it's so fucking risky in the first place. And most likely, over time, if I would just be holding, I will be way better off eventually. But we will see. Like I'm still in the market on a daily basis. It's still exciting to me, and I'm not like doing it too crazy, I would say. The average financial cycle is 16 years long, 10 years of expansion and 6 years of contraction. Yeah, so this is something I heard from Bob Lucas. I kind of have lens in my head like 18.4, 18.6 or something. And he was also saying that Bitcoin will be ending a larger cycle for first time in its lifetime at the end of this cycle, which is very, very interesting because we never have seen how Bitcoin behaves when it ends the larger cycle. But at the same time, now we have ETF, something we did not have previously. And we are in the state of the change in world order, something that we probably have like once in 100, 150 years, which is very, very interesting as well. And there is a high chance that Bitcoin might actually get adopted as this escape asset, because a lot of things are probably going to get fucked up. And one thing I have in my head, when I was watching like old Andrew Tate interviews, he was saying that during COVID crash, he was looking for something that will not debase with inflation during the COVID crash, like in the peak panic. And he put like 760K into Bitcoin, which is very, very interesting as an escape route. Very, very interesting. I think like people with essential businesses, they will still be doing well. And people like with properties probably will still be doing well. And people with Bitcoin probably as well. 18-year property cycle, right? 2025 is going to suck, blow off top Q3, Q4 2024. So yeah, I do actually think that we will be extended to 2025. I don't feel like they will be doing something in 2025 right away, but like I still think that Q1 in 2025 would be safe, and what will be happening next is hard to predict currently because we would have to be in 2025 to understand. But there's a high chance that shit might hit the fan closer to the end of 2025, 2026. At least this is how I see it currently. I think Sui is a good competitor to Solana, honestly. If they will adopt the meme coin casino, I would say that any chain might only be the competition to Solana if they will adopt the meme coin casino. And with Solana, we have the situation where they have 6 months of front running, 6 to 7 months front running, because as mentioned, Pump.fun, a bunch of bots, a bunch of tools, they are actually on Solana. Maybe only on Ethereum we have like a larger tool set for trading meme coins, because Ethereum is even like from the last cycle. But yeah, I would say the main issue is with infrastructure. Like people like Godbit, market makers, the reason they're so successful on Solana is because they were one of the first to have like a really proper infrastructure to actually make memes on Solana. And I do honestly believe that they're in the process of setting up similar type of infrastructure on Blast, or they have one already, because CEO of Godbit was really bullish on memes on Blast. They're working with top memes on Blast already. And yeah, it's interesting that they're betting on it. And I don't think that they're doing it just for the sake of it. Very smart people with a bunch of money and a bunch of insights and connections in the market. Be careful not to sell too early. You will only buy CAC at the higher price, possibly the top. Yeah, that's one of the hardest thing to do, because if you would be selling, you would probably want to sell like finally, so not to like rebuy at any stage, at any moment. And one of the thoughts that I'm kind of sharing in some of the videos is that I do think that if it ends up the way that you will have like a large supply or large bag of a really blue chip meme coin with a crazy valuation, I do think that in some cases it might actually even make sense to just not take profits on all of it, but leave something through the bear market. Because if it's like a blue chip like Dogecoin, for example, like even Shiba Inu, they will probably return in the next cycle as well. So as an asset, you might want to treat them as an asset. And I think at the end of the cycle, we'll have several meme coins like this. I know it might sound crazy currently, but I do think we will be seeing something like this. Sui is the one I feel like it's going to be top 10 coin. Yeah. I think I scrolled down. Or not. Yeah. Sui is the one. Yeah, so it might be happening, but I also feel that it might be happening closer to the end of, because the reason with these things, like the reason they are fundraising hundreds of millions of dollars, they don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to develop like L1, right? They need hundreds of millions of dollars to market the whole thing. And they understand that there is zero sense for them to market anything because the marketing currently is not effective, because people who are on the marketplace currently, they don't buy into the garbage. They understand that they will just get dumped on. Therefore, they're waiting for retail to come to start the marketing. And that's what's interesting, because even the thing that I showed you with like VCs and altcoins, it can be a sign of the bottom for altcoins. It can be the sign that more and more people are adopting these things, that altcoins are dead and things like that. I think the only reason that altcoins are waiting for currently is for arrival for real retail. And arrival for real retail will be coming in the alt season. And alt season will only be coming once BTC will essentially be very stable after the previous all-time high. So potentially even at the end of this month, start of the next one, because there is zero fucking sense for them to be spending like tens of millions of dollars for marketing for us, because we are not buying the crap at this stage. And me personally, I got liquidated, for example, and I actually decided to buy Sui memes instead of buying Sui in the first place. So it's very interesting. And yeah, I think they're just good marketers. And I think they just don't understand that their marketing spend is not effective at this stage. They need to wait for the market condition to change. They need to wait for retail. And then once we would be having our alt season, I think we will just see like a crazy marketing machine going about like top altcoins. They will start to spend the budgets and they will start to pump the tokens and dump on retail. Rockstar, thank you. Sounds like you believe this bull cycle will continue into 2025. Good luck with that. I'll be laughing in the bank with my juicy profits while you round trip your backs again, bro. Boba Billions. Then why don't you talk about the Mantle Inu? It is traded on the Bitget. Capitalization is only 2 million. The first token in this network. Yeah. I'm just not following Mantle myself, and it's interesting because some people are talking about it. I think there is interesting technological implementation there. So I think it's just a very interesting play like this cycle. Just buy like low cap meme coins of chains that will be receiving liquidity inflows. Like Lind Online here, I think it will be doing very well. Things that we've done with Blast and waiting for our airdrop. And and Sui, even like my buy with memes in Sui, because I can be sitting in my Sui memes for months, if not like years, if we will essentially have cycle till the end of 2025. But I think still it's a very, very nice entry point, and I'm betting on the ecosystem that I believe in. Therefore, I think it might be smart to buy some tone memes as well. I just have Rido. Then why don't you talk about, alright, stand the memecoin king. Let's see on that. Yeah, guys, you're just copying. I hold my Andy too. Yeah, you're just copying stuff 10 times. I love it when people talk about me. Yeah, you seem just to argue with each other, guys. Blessed Andy OG, right? I think we should not like kind of focus on any other Andys on the market. Our thing is Blast. It's a meme on Blast. Blast should be doing crazy well. Like with all the information, everything I see, the fact that they only raised 20 million should be doing crazy, crazy well. Crash definitely a death, you can tell just by the way he speaks about Brett. How to say this? He's not. Just trust me. Crash is a scammer, period, don't be naive. So he might be a scammer in the fact that like he actually not was saying that he was taking profits, but it was kind of obvious in the first place. And he actually had situations in before in the bear market where he was sharing his public wallet, but he was also not selling. Or when he was selling, people began to panic and they started to dump. So from the point of view of holder of Brett, do you want Crash to show his wallet and take profits like anonymously, not influencing the price? Or do you want him to like sell from the public wallet? So it kind of was naive to think that someone is not taking profits, because he probably was, and he was taking profits, most likely. Bread and base scares me too many. Why at least? After all the FUD, I'm actually quite confident bread and base currently. It will go down only if the market will go down at this stage, or if everyone will just forget about base. And I think like base narrative is kind of forced. I think thesis is quite weak already because it's understood by everyone and people are just waiting, and airdrop is not coming. And on chain, summer on base, like they will direct people to the Solana ecosystem and Solana wallets exactly the same way that they will be directing people to base. Because if they won't be directing people to Solana ecosystem with the wallet, they will just lose the competition with their wallets. And Solana just has like way more infrastructure in the first place. So let's see. Let's hope that Blast is winning the whole thing, right? Sui about to blow up. Let's see. Caesar Coles talks about the same thing. OG Brett. And been down. He's been scamming people for years. I've been around for 6 years. They can have some finance and paid him off. Nah, they were not paying him off. I know some information because it was heavily discussed in Crash private channel. I honestly like Crash. I think he's definitely positive for this space in the first place, and like he gave all these people the chance to actually like earn money. So interesting. Brett will bleed more. Handsome Finance probably handsomely paid in Brett. No, don't think so. Are you bullish on any other upcoming layer 2s? Mod just launched. Looking for any memes there? Nah, honestly, I'm not looking into other layer 2s. Maybe this is the issue. But I also kind of want to focus my liquidity, and I don't want to be like spread it too thin. And I think I picked the good ones. I think I picked the best ones at this stage. Blast should be doing well. Alinea will be receiving a crazy airdrop. Bread is too risky. No one wants insider coins other than the pumpers. No one will take these coins seriously past the community pumps. This is something I like to see, and this is something where I see upside. And imagine how hated this rally will be. How much mind share. This is one of the reasons I actually long this thing, because I understood that I fucked up with Solana and with Solana memes. And imagine how hated this rally will be if this thing will be surging up and people will know like it's insider pump and it's still pumping. it's still going up. Yeah, it can be very, very crazy. This is one of the reasons that I'm actually along in this as well. What's going to happen with Bobo, Wolf, and One Cat? Bobo, I think, will be doing well. Wolf, I'm just waiting for Avex. I'm not selling any of my Wolf as well. One Cat, let's see. Based on the it's kind of like a weaker meme in the first place. So this one I have definitely smaller conviction. I would say it was like a short-term play if liquidity will hit the market, but unfortunately it did not heal. It did not hit this part of the market well. Stone, are you bearish on Brett? I'm curious. Stan, yeah. No, I'm not bearish. I think it should be recovering and it should have a hated rally. I think reputation of too much people in the market is connected to Brett at this stage. Was Arthur bullish or bearish on stacks? Yeah, I think stacks should be doing quite well. Definitely kind of calm down. But I think it waits for BTC to surge up. Arthur was not saying anything on stacks as BTC layer 2. I still think that like there would be one of the small amount of projects that will not be scams. Speaking about Bitcoin layer 2s. Crash is traveling around eating steak dinners around the world and shilling his scam coins. Alright, yeah, I never seen someone with so much conviction like Crash, especially after the fact his previous coins went to zero. Not his fault, in my opinion. Well, he is a good trader. He called top on BTC and bottom as well. Thanks for a true honest insight on Brett. I like your style and you're funny as fuck. Got a new follower. Thanks, mate. Happy to have you with us. Bobo Billions. Once retail comes, because they will be desperate for a quick buck due to the real economy being in the shit or inflation coming back, they will ape into memes mostly and some AI projects. I agree with that. When Moon, end of the month. Plus, there are several studies, not financial recommendation, but I'm playing as there will be Moon at the end of the month. Like I'm buying like degenerate shit. Plus, there are several studies showing that gambling is increasing big time and crypto makes it super. Yeah, this is something I like as well, because in hard times, I think gambling is going up heavily. People are desperate. And this is like a very, very strong point for memecoin super cycle. Because I'm from Belarus in the first place. And life became harder for people with the war. And people in Russia as well. And like, there are so many casino like advertisements there currently. So many. It's like partially the reason I'm telling about this war thing and about the things that will happen is because I'm from the region where it happened already. I'm seeing like I'm kind of seeing like future, but in reality, like I'm living in war type of setup for quite some time. Like people in 600 kilometers from me are raping like small daughters and forcing the moms to view and making it that crazy shit is happening. And like you need to accept this reality in the first place. And I understand languages of both on the sides. Maybe I have like distant relatives from people on both sides, but yeah, it's hard. Blue chip memes and AI. Blue chip memes and AI, yeah, it's actually quite safe. Stan, have you seen Piano on Soul? Looks like a cute penguin meme. Could do well like the Pudgy penguins. Yeah, it's funny that like this Lux guy who was sharing CCC and shilling it, he's kind of he's currently sharing Penny. So let's essentially see. I would rather want him to shill CCC, right? Cute cat candle. What's your blue chip meme, Stone? Any other 1 billion? Boba, I think. Boba is actually a very, very nice entry point to buy currently. So meme coins are going to explode, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so. Well, guys, I need to... Is Wolf and Alex a better buy over buying Pepper? Well, it's definitely more riskier. Pepper... yeah, I think it will do more exit just because of the fact like it has a very, very low market cap in comparison currently. Pepper is just something safe. Short term, I would be buying Wolf and Avex because I do expect the pump, but you might not be expecting the pump. Ponky is my favorite low cap meme. Yeah, great community, funny content. I agree with that. Lead Andy on Blast. Andy on Blast has a team. I'm tweeting about it constantly. So yeah, I think it will be doing well because I think Blast has a very, very bright future. It's like, it's very interesting, guys, with the memes that I'm sharing to you, because if you follow the logic, you can see that the things that I'm sharing, I'm like, first, I'm buying them myself, and secondly, they don't need me to pump. And this is like why I'm doing on purpose. I'm explaining liquidity flows, and I'm giving you the option to understand who is your exit liquidity. And I'm not using you as exit liquidity, at least to my knowledge, right? I am explaining to you where liquidity will come, and I'm just sharing the thesis, and then it's up to you. And this is something that I think I'm doing that is very, very interesting, that not a lot of people are doing on the market except me, because others, they just like share something and they just pump it, pump. They're using their own followers as exit liquidity. People who are early, they're making money. People who are late, they're losing money, and then basically nothing is happening. But I think with each and every of my picks, I always explain the thesis and who would be your exit liquidity. So I'm essentially sharing feedback, options, and candidates for who the exit liquidity would be eventually. My cousin has a big bag of Ponkin. He loves the marketing team. Funny shit. He picks wanting me to ape in. Yeah, Ponkin I think might be doing well. He has the support of Luke Belmar. It has the support of Crash as well. Should be, it kind of considered the Pepe derivative as well. Don't you think it's funny that people have made this forced narrative around Pepe's best friends? It might be from one point of view. From other, they are boys club character from the artist, and Brett is definitely doing well. I think Engine Blast will be doing well as well. So weak narrative. I think it's actually strong narrative. Ponky, yeah, I like Ponky. Thanks for your feedback. The guys call me lunatic because I believe BTC will go to 700k. We'll see. We'll see on that. And I'm just sharing my opinion here. I think BTC will be 700k this cycle, conservatively. We can play the election year memes as well. They should do 10x, Biden, Trump, MAGA. Yeah, today I actually bought Biden beta, very low cap, and I think it will be doing well. I will probably be doing a video on this soon. 9 innings in baseball. It's cricket, but I have no idea. How do you feel Blast Andy will be doing the short term? Some people originally 10-15 billion for Blast Andy in long term would be too. I honestly think that like 3 billion might be very, very conservative for Andy on Blast, like long term. Short term, I do expect like with everything pumping, I do expect like 200 million. Closer to the mid-end of June, but we will see, because Blast should be doing well. But what if we are tied in the next inning? We could see 10s, 11s. Yeah, I don't know the rules anyway. Crashing his bodies, hyped it up, pumped it, and dumped it. They're waiting for round 2. So it was not dumping, it dumped with FUD, but I do think, yeah, they were definitely selling the top, and that's why it was not pumping further in the first place, because they definitely probably had some buying pressure as well. But the fact that you are saying that they are waiting for round 2, that means that it's not pump and dump. Well, let's hope, because I don't want to get liquidated on my Brett loan. People have memory loss after a few months, after a few days, you want to say, right? Thanks for the effort. No worries. I know, Brett, it is a scam. Well, I lost that message. Keyword. Guys, you have so many messages. Wow. I probably should speed up. I don't want to sit here till the night. Made lots of cash from your advices. Happy to help. Yeah, I know Brett is a scam, but since I know there is a team behind this coin and they are not done pumping to exit, I will ape. Yeah, it's too much reputation of different people connected already. And execution is just too nice. And actually, one point of why crash is not the death of the whole thing, because they have connections to all the top KOLs, all the top people in the industry, like CryptoBunter, like Kyle Chaser as well, like a bunch of others. And they were able to list on the exchanges quite soon. It requires connections in the first place. Crash definitely did not have these connections because his account was quite small before the success of Brett. It just turned out that talent of Crash just pumped this thing like crazy, which is very, very interesting. Crash is a very, very good marketer, and it's quite funny as well. I remember that when he was called an insider, he made a tweet like, "Yeah, they called me an insider inside your girl apartment." Pump again, but it's sure 40 billion like Crash swears by. Well, we will see, because liquidity on this thing is bad, so it's very, very easy to pump the market cap. So, and if Coinbase will continue to soft shield Brett, and if the whole thing continues, and if Coinbase will have inflows, 40 billion, we all have bear market PTSD. That's why the guy called me a lunatic when I said like 700k BTC. We're still quite early, especially in terms of the altcoin prices, especially with the fact that VCs didn't even start marketing campaigns for the altcoin bags. We are we're definitely early, like right now. It's going to be so much time, and part of me kind of want for this cycle to like already like just speed up, just be finished. I want to take my tens of millions of dollars already, but you have to wait. It's the game of waiting. We're going to be blasting off in the next week or so. Get ready. I agree on this. Not even close. I can see it hit 1 billion for sure. So it's 3x from here. Use low leverage, and now you're closer to 10x. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. But unfortunately, my entry point is like so bad. It's like 400 million. Just make sure you don't get liquidated. So wait till it hits a local bottom, or have a bunch of money to add as margin. And that's something that I did. What do you think about the gravestone dojo on the left month chart for Bitcoin? Don't know, not sure. Hey Stan, so nice to see you on these live streams. Great job. Thank you. Nice to see you as well. Good luck, bro. I won't touch it. 2 months chart. Sorry. Yeah, I already told about Mantle. Support the small channels, guy. Hit the like. Yeah, appreciate your likes, guys. Normally I would not touch it, but since they got exposed and the shit down to 300 market cap, it fact with the profits, so they will pump. I don't think it fucked with the profits. I think that they were taking profits at the top. I think because the execution on Brett is nice. I think the team is quite experienced. Like, it would be very, very stupid for them to not be taking profits at the top. They were definitely taking profits at the top because they need additional liquidity if they want to pump this thing moving forward, and they want to pump this thing moving forward. Yeah, you can definitely still make some money of it. I got other places I've been patient with. Keyword patience, agree. That's why most people lose money. They don't stick to the plan and have patience. Agree with that. If the S&P retraces 50 to 70% in late 2024, will crypto prices be able to recover and go higher in early 2025? I believe crypto is still, and Bitcoin is still very, very highly correlated with stock market. It's being viewed as a risk asset at this stage, so it follows the cycle of all the risk assets, like tech stocks, for example. So yeah, I don't think that if like S&P would dump, like hard, crypto will pump. I think to a certain extent, until like the world will go to shit, crypto will continue copy the S&P. High stance up with Wolf. Don't know, I'm just holding, waiting for the Alex to wake up. What's your thoughts on Pacmon? Interesting thing. I'm a bit pissed that I did not buy at the lows. Probably won't be entering currently. It's a community token. It has a high fully diluted valuation. I believe that Andy will be flipping Pacmon at a certain stage because I think Andy is a stronger meme. Haven't heard you talk about it much. Yeah, already said. Stan, what do you think of Caspa and when Caspa gets smart contracts? Don't know when, and I honestly don't follow Caspa much. Crash seemed to be bullish on it, so yeah, I think Caspa should be doing well because it was quite strong in the bear market. Yeah, we might get a pump, but now hard will be how it depends. I expect bounce from all-time high. Fed is doing nothing, pretty much sidelined. Fed announced that they are decreasing the amount of quantitative tightening, which means that they're coming to quantitative easing, which is money printing. I think they decreased the amount by 30 billion a month or something, maybe a quarter. I learned that from being in previous cycles, patience has paid off for me this year. Yeah, that's for sure. Takes 2 cycles to really know what you're doing. They say it takes 3 cycles. When is Landloof going to pump? When Alex going to pump? We're waiting for Wolf to pump. Holding, yeah, guys. It needs Alex. Wolf is a better play on Alex. Beppe and me on Blast should be doing like Beppe, Blast, Pepe derivative weaker than Andy. Mia is one of like Doc meta meme, so it's older, might be doing well. I like Finger Blast in comparison to these older memes, but yeah, it's fucking degenerate. It's very, very risky. Have you died in the pop dog? No, I did not. All right, so let me. Where you're from Belarus? Yeah, I'm holding Wolf. Yeah, 80-90% down for most of the alts. Yeah, I think so. We will be down in the bear market. Andy, 10x from now. Well, we might be seeing it short term, closer to the mid-end of June. Long term, definitely, because I think Blast will be doing very, very well. What do you think about Crash being bullish on Litecoin? First, I thought it was a joke. That's quite interesting. I think it's a safe bet because for you to be able to invest into memes and do crazy shit, you need like certain sanity in the first place. Stan, when you sell your AND, not sure, not selling anything at this stage. What market cap do you expect Sneebo to reach in the next 3 months? Somewhere between 15 to 50 million. Depends on Boba. Is there lots of additional information from you in your Discord group? Yeah, most of my calls I do them in Discord first. So for example, meme token I bought 20k of today, which is better play in Boden. My Discord knows what this meme token is. And in general, you can talk to me, you can talk to other people. So, but essentially, I don't want people with any expectations in my Discord group. 0 expectations. Crash is helped a ton of people, no matter how much people he scams. Help people make a ton of money. I likely got into his redo and common calls. Yeah, that's for sure. But I don't think he scammed people. It's just how the market works. Math course in school in general. Yeah, I was very good at math in school. In university, I was sucking at math, but in school, yeah, very, very, very good at math. I like math. I think math is the language of gods. Top Blast NFTs, not following that. I got tracked many times with NFTs. Maybe it's a limiting belief, but I'm not following NFTs on purpose. Do you think Endon Blast is better pick than Wolf or Navax? That's harder to say. I'm way more confident in Endon Blast. I'm way more confident in Blast than in Avax even this cycle. But currently, hard to say. I would say that Endon Blast is just more like higher conviction thing, but Wolf and Avax should be doing some multipliers as well. Will a linear chain able to compete with base solo blast chains? We will see to a certain extent if they will adopt Memecoin game, but they have all the MetaMask users, and that's none of them actually have. Stan thoughts at culture coin Zin in particular. They're expecting to shift 520 millions of Zin. Not sure, don't know much about that. I think Zin is some type of like tobacco thing, but yeah, it's actually quite bullish on these things. Would you choose Andy over Pack? I would. I think that Andy should be flipping Pack. Wolf, I said already. Wolf and Avalanche, yep. New tweet from Crash. My first bull run, can you please critique? My plan was to sell profits into USDT, hold for when market drops, then reinvest into BTC Caspa. How would you reinvest? Yeah, you can just buy BTC Caspa. You can buy some meme coins as well. You can buy some AI if you feel more comfortable holding AI. Meme coins probably going to outperform, and selling and buying higher is bad strategy in the bull market, because you are risking tens of thousands of percents upside if the market will just go up, trying to protect 20 to 30% downside. That's always not the best idea. Goodman Stone enjoying the lives, thank you. Anything about Boba? Boba should be doing well. Let's wait for Ethereum, let's wait for Pepe. I prefer Snibu to Dodo because Dodo is an influencer launch in the bull market. Influencer were kind of buying it at the bottom, and I just vibe with Snibu meme more. So I like Snibu memes. I'm like today I was laughing from Snibu meme on Snibu page. Zap and Blast don't know much. Do you know if Blast End is pushing for sexes? Yeah, I think so. They definitely will have sexes. But sexes is in this type of market, you need to understand that sexes are nice when you have retail in the market. And currently, yeah, it's about different things. Stan, do you think know why the website for Snibu is not working? No, don't know. But website for Memecoin, that's not that important. All right, thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will be seeing you tomorrow as usual. Probably I will do this weekly in terms of streams. Enjoying talking to you as well. Let's wait for our pump next week. The Boba Dev leaked some alpha today. Boba Billions. Bye bye.